7 AM in Derbyshire, so not all bad. Just gonna wait for that car to go past. There's a few songs that continue to affect you in the same way as they did the very first time you heard them. That special group gets even smaller for the ones that not only sustain the interest, but grow to something more, not in a stagnant, nostalgic way, but with vigour and purpose with each encounter. Re-listening to songs can be glorious, uplifting, or soul-shattering, but this more select group are akin to a lifelong marriage that started off as adolescent infatuation. Micah Hinson is from Abilene in Texas, and the recorded version of the song came along in 2014. I was not in a great place at the time, and I don't know where this song fits into my own time scale with mental health issues of isolation, breakdown, suicidal thoughts, or redemption. But whilst there's no definite start time to the distress or anxiety I felt, I know exactly where I was when I first had the tremendous good fortune to be in its company for 2 minutes and 59 seconds. I can still close my eyes and recall sitting in the garden on the kids' trampoline. Baz Luhrmann was right, I miss my knees. Earbuds in, flicking through Spotify, looking for relatively recent music and skipping past new releases, until this took its turn as the next song on the playlist. And then the intro happened. Calm, wary, restrained, resigned, deep tones counted in the song's beginning in Spanish. All of the music sites that detail the lyrics so that he counts in uno, dos, tres, but I don't hear that. It could well be his southern drawl, his southern Spanish drawl, or my northern hearing, my northern English hearing. But whilst the dos and the tres are undeniable, the first word doesn't sound like uno. The counting gives the feeling that he and the tune are waking up or trying to stay awake, and maybe that's why the first word is misspoken or misheard. But as with most things, my thoughts get caught up in romance. And maybe it's nothing more than the half-lost word of a late-night conversation as the speaker tries to jolt their brain back into life. But those first few words are just like the rest of the lyrics. The counting is an integral part of the verse. In that after all these years, I still haven't come to terms with their place and identity, never mind their meaning. It wasn't until recently, when I decided to do this film, that I actually looked at what the lyrics were. Although some of the individual words are obvious, the sentences that contain them aren't so clear, even from much repeated listening. I've also still not got to the point where the "Want to Save You Now" has become so familiar that I'd want to break it down into simple music and lyrics, where the repeated listening has taken off the edge so much that I can't just appreciate the song's beauty as a whole. Now, the first word, uno or not uno, doesn't really matter, except it gave the first clue that this song was going to go beyond the usual wait till the first chorus before skipping past a new tune. It was going to play out in its entirety that day, take a whole left turn a few weeks later with a late night live performance, and from there on sit with me for the rest of my life. Therapy, like damage, is everywhere. The music, mostly piano and drums, takes the cue from the laid back and adorned feel to the introduction, gently easing you in. It opens up like the count, a slow stride to a steady canter. Make believe that I am all fine. It's dragged out like a throwaway comment that is heartfelt and desperate. Lyrics and melody have always had the ability to change my mood instantly. They can treat my depression as effectively as a decent night's uninterrupted sleep, but in 3 minutes, like a power nap of sorts. The first few bars of the song remind me of Bob Dylan's harmonica style. Your head instantly thinks, I could play that. And maybe you could technically, but you'd fail at the first hurdle in delivery. The song's lyrics are repeated once, and the anchor for the whole piece is the ascension of the line that's used as the song's title to a further crescendo at the second time of singing. The statement offer a plea of, "What if I was the one to save you now?" quickly dissipates to be answered by himself with, "Well, I wouldn't mind." The song is laced with issues around mental health, of people only being able to accept help when they are in that place themselves. Sometimes there is nothing more you can do than make a statement, a plea or an offer. It falls on deaf ears. You're left with the hope that one day it will be heard, welcomed, and maybe even taken up. It's laughable how much I choose sentiment over marketing. The fact that Micah Hinson was performing live in Nottingham, 10 miles from where I live, the week after the album appeared on my Spotify playlist as a recommendation, seemed like joyous timing. It was. It just had nothing to do with coincidence or chance. The Bodega, a fairly clean version of the typical live music venue consisting of bar, vast space and stage, has its venue on the first floor and holds about 200 people. There was I there with my mate Pete Wiley. Not the Pete Wiley. Well, he is the Pete Wiley, just not the one from War and Liverpool. And there's Micah P. Hinson, all the way from Abilene in Texas via drug dependency, bankruptcy, homelessness, marriage, fatherhood, a crippling car accident in Catalonia, Spain in 2011, and 7 glorious albums at the time. Crouching on the stage, square onto me in a nearly full room, taking chunks out of an apple like he's sitting on his porch back at home. I don't know whether he's got a porch. Swigging from some kind of milk concoction, occasionally interrupted by the air conditioning taking off above me like some kind of plane. There's no Spanish counting. He tunes his battered guitar like it's the instrumental starting for the song itself. His voice churns, croaks and fires up. Make believe that I am all fine. He reaches the point in the song where he sings the title's line for the second time, where his voice rises off the ground that it's been pulled along since the start of the song, soaring to exclaim redemption and empathy, pure and dependable love. Except on this occasion, the chains of the night, the tour, the physical remnants of the car accidents, or who knows what, something drags him back towards the earth as he struggles to get free of the leash. His voice doesn't make the same unbroken journey to the heavens that I've got used to by the recording. But it's beautiful. It's more complicated. It's genuine. He ignores the constraints and aims higher still, regardless of the shackles, and it only adds to the song. It's more desperate, but so much more determined. I tend to put the song on when I know I'm going to be undisturbed, mostly when driving, although it's never the first song I put on. There's an issue with the system in the car so that it interrupts the first song for 10 seconds or so, which isn't long, but some things demand the care and attention they contain. I think of that evening in Nottingham, experiencing a song live, a song that's important to you, sung at a time that's still fresh and relevant for the singer, is a rare treat. I think of the counting, why it's such a focus for me, maybe because it's like a deep breath, a calming mechanism, a way of stepping back, taking time out, something I clearly rely on each time I listen to the song. I think of the soaring reprise of the title, the second chorus, both anticipating and experiencing it, of how it reminds me of desperate hope and unconditional, unending love. I think of the last few seconds of the song, the short pause that seems to be like the finish, and then the actual end of the song itself. It's similar to the end of upbeat traditional rock and roll songs, but rather than finishing a blaze of noise and shock, it's wrapped in gentle, reassured conclusion that is anything but. If you love someone, set them free, but let them know where you'll always be. The first sound you hear when you first play the song isn't the actual counting, is background noise when we're recording. Like home recording on the old cassette tapes used to be, wrapped up like a blank canvas before the paint arrives. The noise sets the scene. All our thin frames are constrained by the earth, but they can fly with our thoughts and feelings if we want them to. For me, the song is about redemption, about empathy, about pure and dependable love. What if I was the one to save you now?